2.5 kinship. New unit 2.5 kinship. ఏంటి kinship అంటే ఏంటి? What is kinship? Relatives. How many types of relatives we have? మనకి ఎన్ని రకాల relatives? How many types of relatives we will have? We will have 2 types of relatives. You search. One is affinal, other is consanguineal. My mother side relatives, my father side relatives. My mother is my blood, my father is my blood. Other than that, till marriage, no relatives will be there. Yes or no? Once got married, then all my spouse relatives will become my relatives. Other than these two, any relatives are there for you? Then you are Superman. Only 2 types of relatives are there. One is by consanguineous, other is by affinal. Kinships can be understood by 2 relatives or 2 relationships. One is called as by blood, other is by marriage. This particular relationship which is having status and role, every relative will have a status and every relative will have a role. Sasuma will be having a status and Sasuma will be having a role. Bahu will be having a status, Bahu will be having a role. Father-in-law will be having the status and father-in-law also will be having a role. Brother-in-law or sister-in-law will be having a status and brother-in-law and sister-in-law will be also having a role. Brother-in-law and sister-in-law can have a jovial relationship, but father-in-law mother-in-law cannot have jovial relationship. Means what? A role. You can behave jovially. Who? Brother-in-law and sister-in-law. You should not maintain jovial role. You don't have this role. Who? Father-in-law and mother-in-law. You are having a status. According to the status, there is a role. So in consanguineous also we have the role. In consanguineous also we have the status. In affinal also we have the role. Affinal also we have the status. That combination of status and role through blood and through by marriage is called as kinship system. The first topic is consanguinity and affinity. That whole, which is a combination of consanguinity and affinity, whereby every individual will be having the status as well as associated role. There are some degrees of kinship, I will tell you, understand this. Primary degree, secondary degree, tertiary degree of kinship. Primary degree of kinship. Primary means very important. Yes or no? Tell me who is very important to you? Father, mother, brother, sister or spouse or son or daughter, close, directly related. These are primary degree of kinship for anyone. Father, mother, brother, sister, spouse or else son, daughter, where we are associated directly, where we are directly in relationship. That particular degree of kinship is called as primary degree of kinship. Secondary degree of kinship will be there, whereby my primaries is my secondary. Means my spouse mother is associated to me but because of my spouse. Primary is my secondary. My spouse brother is related to me only because of spouse. So the spouse brother is related to me because of spouse. Primaries, but my spouse brother is for her or for him? Primary. Primary is for me? Secondary. Tertiary. My spouse brother's wife. My spouse brother's wife. For my spouse, secondary. For my spouse brother, she is primary. So primaries is for me? Tertiary. In that way, there are 3 degrees of kinship. According to the socio-cultural anthropology, the relationships are very, very, very fragile, like this, or they won't maintain any relationship more than tertiary. So relationship will be maintained till primaries, not spouse, brothers, wives, parents. So in any society the relationship is limited, or in consanguineous also. My father's brother's wife, my father's brother's wife, my father's brother's wife's parents. So primaries, tertiary degree of kinship. In this way, 3 degrees of kinship is there. Primary degree of kinship, secondary degree of kinship, tertiary degree. And we believe that above the tertiary degree of kinship, there is no relationship maintained. The relationship is not that much serious. An organized group of status and roles. Status and roles. That directs and controls the personal behavior of relatives is called as kinship system. It's not only kinship. We are not only into the relationship, we are also into the bond. And if we want to maintain that bond, compulsory a personal behavior will be there. How we will be behaving. And that behavior depends upon what? What is your status and associated? What is your status and associated role? When your status and your role is on par with the culture, then that kinship will be strong. If that status and role is not on par with culture, means culture will tell us with whom we have to be close. We will be close with our sister and brother up to one condition, up to one limitation, or we will be completely free. The culture will tell, yes, you can be free with your sister, you can be free with your brother, but only up to some limitation. The culture will determine. So what is the status, what is associated role, who will be determining? The culture will be determining. That particular bond is called as kinship. W.H.R. Rivers, anthropologist, very famous British anthropologist, W.H.R. Rivers, calls kinship as the expression of social relationship in a, kinship is a relationship in a biological idiom, marital idiom, that's it. So any kinship will be having two bonds, one bond is called as biological idiom, another bond will be marital idiom. Means any bond for me, any bond will be because of my biological idiom, means blood. Biology means blood. Biological idiom or else marital, that's it. People are bound together in groups by various kinds of bonds, friendship, neighborhood, teacher, student, so many bonds are there. But however, the most universal and most basic of these bonds is, if you fight with your relative also, if they are having a marriage and some invitation came directly or indirectly, you have to go, at least for 1 second, hello, attendance, take one photo first, immediately fast, take one photo. How much ever is there, but still we will maintain the relationship with, why? Because early morning we will see their face. They will be part of our kinship bond. We like or dislike. When people we meet, friend means, go man, we can tell. But kinship we cannot tell. People, some or the other day we come into association. Hence, kinship bond is more universal. Kinship bond is more basic for a human being. Kinship has to do with two types of relationship. One relationship is called as consanguinity, other relationship is called as affinity. All cultures distinguish various categories of consanguineous and affinities. These categories are associated patterns of rights and obligations which make up kinship system. There will be rights, there will be obligations also. How we have to behave, what are our rights, what are our obligations, these all things will be there. There are so many bonds, there are so many relatives, there are so many relationships, but what is universal is kinship. True. Finally, you talk to any of your friend, any person you tell, they will tell that. How many relatives came, they will ask finally. First they will count the relatives. If any match come to your house, why people will take, 15 people they will take, 2 sumos. Yes or no? To show strength, see this much strength is there. They will come with 3 sumos, see our strength. Marriage happens like war only. I am not, we are one more jeep, then another sumo will come. Means, what is it? It is the strength of the family. So we are not alone. See, this much is there. So something happens to my daughter. See what will happen. See, they will also, they will tell. Yes or no? In complex societies like Western societies, kinship play little or no role in complex network of association, whereas in simple societies, the paramount importance is given to kinship bond. Again, these kinships are present in simple societies and complex societies. But simple societies give higher importance to kinship. Complex societies like Western societies, they don't bother about kinship. But however, kinships will be there. Kinship system will be there, but seriousness is there in which societies? Simple societies. Means before you asked me the doubt, I am telling, sir, in Western societies there will be nothing called as relatives, no sir. Yes, there will be relatives, but the seriousness will be very, very meager. But the seriousness in simple societies like India or tribal societies will be. Kinship system determines what is the function of kinship. Kinship system will determine whom to obey and whom not to obey, who are his relatives, who are not his relatives, whom one should marry, whom one should not marry, yes or no. Kinship system will determine this people you have to obey, this people if you don't obey also no problem. This people you have to talk more, this people you no need to care. This people you can marry, this people you cannot marry. Who is determining? Kinship system is determining. Father side in patriarchal and patrilineal Indian society. How much ever we are tilted towards mother side relatives. Frequently people will go to mother side relatives, but who are very serious? Father's brother. Father's brother sides are more associated. How much ever we go, they also finally tell that they are outsiders. Why? Because it's a patrilineal system. Who are your original relatives? Whom one should marry, whom one should not marry, whom we have to obey, whom we should not obey. This all will be determined by whom? Kinship system. Kinship is a system of social relationship, a web of social relations through which an individual is associated with other individuals in a, how one person is associated with another person, in a bond of consanguinity or in a bond of affinity. According to Levi-Strauss, see how I am bringing, you should also remember, I brought WHR reverse, I brought Levi-Strauss, you should also. Then it will become an anthropology. People will tell no, anthropological way of writing an answer means just you have to bring anthropologist names. According to Levi-Strauss, the desire for reproduction gives rise to two kinds of bonds. So he told that, how this kinship system evolved. The desire for reproduction, biological need, no bad in that. It's a biological need, desire for reproduction. But in a systematic way, in a procedural way, so that guaranteed, future will be guaranteed for the both as well as children mainly. Random participation of sex is there, then automatically the children, if they are born, then who is going to take care about the children? Marriage is also one institution which established because who should take care about the children? If not, the children will be deserted. So marriage as a relationship, kinship as a bond established mainly because of desire for reproduction. Then how? So one should get married. So one relationship. So once married, children born. Another relationship, father and mother. So hence you will be having two bonds. One is marital, other is by blood. In that way, the kinship systems evolved, and that kinship systems are called as primary kinship. Then what happened? That lady's father or that gentleman's mother. Primary is primary, secondary came, then tertiary. Hence there is a primary degree of kinship, secondary degree of kinship and tertiary degree of kinship. The desire for reproduction, biological need. So no shame, nothing. The desire for reproduction is a common phenomenon. The desire for reproduction gives rise to two kinds of bond between spouses which is called as affinal. Now the child born, after reproduction, the bond between the parents and children, which is called as consanguinity. So Levi-Strauss, why only two, sir? So why only two? Because it is mainly because of the need for reproduction or satisfaction of biological need called as sex. Hence there is, so means first which bond established? Chicken first or hen first? Chicken first or egg first? Chicken first or egg first? Curry first, sir. Chicken first or whether marriage first or children first? Then how these both people came then? Sir, then? Adam and Eve, sir. So in this way there are two bonds, reproduction and affinal. In kinship, understand this, how we will be representing the diagrams of kinship. How we will be representing the diagrams. Triangle, male, circle, female, male or female, ego. For ego, sister, female. For ego, brother. For ego, mother. For ego, father. In kinship diagrams, one individual is usually labeled as ego. This is a person to whom all kinship relations are referred. Reference point. Ego means reference point. In the case below on the right, ego has a brother, for him right. Sister, father, or that ego is shown as being gender non-specific, gender neutral. That is, it can be either male or female. In that way, we will be drawing the kinship diagrams. One line or two lines, no problem. Simply one line also enough. Marriage, live-in relationship, cohabiting, divorced, separated, adopted in female, adopted in male, descended, next generation, descended, or siblings. In this way, the diagrams are been there for kinships. Why kinship is important to people? As I already discussed, it is important because whom they have to marry, with whom they have to live after the marriage, whether she should leave the house or he should leave the house. It can be anything. Who will tell? Kinship will tell. Or where to live according to the kinship systems which are present in the culture. How to raise children. Which land to cultivate. Either wife's land or means son is there. Whether mother's land or father's land. Kinship system will tell. Which property to inherit. Who to turn to for help. So when I want help, whether I should go towards my father's side or whether I have to go for my mother's side. Provide a sense of belongingness and identity. How much ever we are associated with mother side relatives, finally our belonging will be towards male or female. Male or female, till she get married, she will be associated with father side relatives only. How to behave with respect to others. So this is the main significance of kinship. Write about the significance of kinship systems. Henry Morgan had gave about 3 degrees of kinship. Primary degree of kinship, secondary degree of kinship, tertiary degree of kinship. Henry Morgan had explained about it. Henry Morgan, first anthropologist, very important. He is the first anthropologist, belongs to America, hence called as American anthropologist, who studied for the first time exclusively about, by then no one were been studying about kinship. Why? Because very complex, no? Going near them, whom you will marry man, with whom you will stay, where is he will beat, why you want, he will tell. So it's very tough. Whomever I will marry, why you want? That kinship system for the first time studied by, who studied kinship system in detail, he is the person who gave the degrees of, now you see the degree. Primary degree of kinship. Ego. Sister. Primary. Father. Mother. Or he got married. This degree is called as primary degree of kinship. If the person is directly related to ego by marriage or by blood, it is called as primary degree. Secondary, for me secondary. Everything you have to take example from your perspective. For me secondary. My primary is for me secondary. Means my sister's husband is for me secondary. My brother's wife is my secondary. My mother's sister, secondary. My father's sister, secondary. My father's wife, primary. My father's wife is mother only. No? My father's wife means mother. Secondary degree. Any kin related to ego through primary is secondary. Primary kins, primary is secondary. Now you see the diagram. Ego. This person I am taking as ego. This lady as secondary. Son. Primary or secondary? Primary. Son's wife for him. Secondary. This is secondary. For this person, ego. Secondary?
Yes. Secondary.
Nivas. This person? Ego. For ego. Secondary. This person? Secondary. This is primary, no. Sister. For him, sister. Sister's husband. For ego, secondary. Primary is secondary. Tertiary. Now you see, ego, son, son's wife, son's wife's brother, primary, primary, primary. This is tertiary degree. Son's wife, wife's brother, wife's brother. This is called as tertiary. Primary is called as tertiary. So, who gave Henry Morgan is the first person who discussed and studied about kinships, and he told there are 3 degrees of kinship. One is called as primary degree, other is called as secondary degree, and other is called as tertiary degree. There are 2 views of kinship. There are 2 views of kinship or 2 perspectives of kinship. One is called as structural, fixed. Brother's wife, fixed, lifelong fixed, till they get divorced. Lifelong fixed. Structural arrangement, structural perspective of kinship. Functional perspective of kinship. Wife's brother will be having a function. Wife or brother will be having a function, or mother will be having a function. So there will be structural arrangement, and for every structural arrangement there will be a functional arrangement. For every structural arrangement there will be a functional arrangement. Father should pay the fees. Yes, it's a structural and functional arrangement. Mother should accumulate all the resources for bringing up structural and functional arrangement. Son, your responsibility come when you are grown up. It's now your responsibility to take care about your parents. Structural and functional. So there is structural and functional. In structural view of kinship, the individuals and their bonds is permanent. Once into bond, forever into bond. Only for some days you will be spouse, or permanently you will be a spouse. Bond will be for forever. Functional view, every kinship bond had a function. If there is absence of function, that kinship bond will degenerate. Importance will be degenerated. Structural view is advocated by R.C. Brown. Functional view is advocated by Malinowski. In this way, next topic is dissent. This I will explain you after the notes. Functional. Your relative is there. You are in very dire need of something. Compulsory, you want some, you know that he is having some money. You asked. He rejected one time. You excused. Second time you asked. He also know that it's emergency, health emergency. Rejected. Something story he told. He had a lot of money, go and ask him, he told. At least if you don't give, fine, but he is also giving free advice. More than me, he had, go and ask him. Third, again he rejected. Whether the bond will be same or the bond will become fragile. Fragile. Functional perspective. So not structural. Yes, into the permanent bond. Permanent bond will be there, but the seriousness associated with the permanent bond is not that much strong. Why? Because it is not only the structural perspective but also functional perspective. And I am telling you with my experience. Again the same thing. Now you no need to bother about your mother and father. When you have to bother, after they cross 60 years, when you are married, and when you have your own responsibility of children, then you have to bother about them. That is the original responsibility. Before marriage, everyone will take care about their parents. Why? Because you are alone. So obviously you will be influenced by the parents, so obviously you want to do something to your parents. If you really want to do something to your parents, it is, now you study proper, get the result and give them, number one, and not done. After they retire, means after 60 years, when you have a spouse and you have your own responsibility of 2 children, then you take the responsibility of your parents. Then that is called as original responsibility. That is called as original function. That is the most important aspect. Now you care about mother, father, if you write a design, all things on that. When they are weak, when they physically become weak, when they know themselves that I have the potential, I can do anything, but my health is not supporting me. At that time, you have to become the supporting hand. At that time, you have to care about your parents. Now you just do your duty and they will do their duty. Their duty is to take care about you and to make them you settled. They will do their duty. Your duty is to study, not cheat them. If you don't cheat them, that is enough for them. Taking care about them, after 60 years. That is important. Why? Because your spouse might not support, you have your own responsibility of your own children, money will not enough. Why? Because you have your own family, you have your own expenses, you have your own things, then you have to give the time to them. Why I am telling, I am not giving lecture on parents, I am telling that now you do your work. Your work is studies. You don't need to think about your parents, they know everything. Now you have to focus on your studies. You don't focus that much on your parents. The time will be there to focus on parents, that is after their 60 years. Now if you want to give something to your parents, that is only rank. Once my one philosopher I follow, he told me this. I went to UPSC interview 3 times, as you know, and my mark sheet is also in the social media. Everywhere you can get my mark sheet of my interviews. I was very, very down. Completely down. What happened? Very limited attempts. In that 3 attempts I went to UPSC interview. I was working in Canara Bank as a manager, 2014 way back. Attempts completed for me. Basically it is not about not clearing the exam, attempts completed. I was sitting in the manager seat and there is no hope. Why? Because it's not that my name is not there in the list. It's because attempts, I don't have the attempts. I cannot further. I completely fallen down on the chair and I started becoming emotional, crying also a little bit. Then what happened? All these staff people will be there. No, they came near me. What happened? They told. Then they know results will come. We will talk now. Results will come. One intelligent gentleman is there. Result. See his name is there or not. It is not there. Control F. They have searched my name. Nothing is there. That is the reason. Then 4 o'clock it will come every year usually. This time also, that time only came, no? 4 o'clock only, no? No, 2 o'clock it came. 2 o'clock it came. 1 o'clock, okay. So 4 o'clock it came at that time. Then I told I want permission and I went. And near one local railway station is the Malkajgiri railway station. I sat there. There is no way, up to 8 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock I sat there just. Then one person came, he saw me, elder person, a retired person. He asked me, then I told him. Then he told that getting rank or not, it's not your luck, it's your parents' luck. So your parents doesn't have the luck, that is the reason you didn't got the rank. Then I asked why? Why? Because parents will be more than happy than you by just listening to your success and showcasing your success to his society. His society means his friends. So they should be lucky so that you should get success. Don't feel you might come up in another field or other field, but your parents are unlucky. Compulsory you first go and talk to them. Make them try to understand why you did not got the rank. Yes, if you get rank, more happier will be your parents. They don't want your money, they don't want, you will think, no, I will work and I will give them money. Nothing. How much you can give? There is foolish thing. They have everything. They know, they can manage. Age is there. Experience, lot of experience is there. They want your success, and with that success, they want to showcase to his or her world. Yes, what you are thinking. Intentionally they will call his friends or opposition party people. That is their happiness. So you getting rank or not depends upon your parents' luck. Means what? That means that they will be more happier than your happiness. So that is the ultimate happiness which you can give to your parents. Not by working for 4 days or 5 days, 1 week, or not eating. Some people will not eat breakfast also. For that purpose, what they will do, they will get up at 11 o'clock. Why you are getting at 11 o'clock means, sir, if I get up at 7 o'clock, then I will be hungry, then I have to go and I have to put 30 rupees and I have to eat breakfast. So 30 rupees I am saving for whom? For my father. So that I will not ask 30 rupees from my father. Then till 11 o'clock you are wasting time. Now what about it? So now it's time to study genuinely, honestly, ethically. If you be ethically now, then you can be ethically person when you are a civil servant. That is what. That's the same thing. Malnovisky also told the same thing. Relatives, kinship system also will be very strong when there is function. Your brother is there, your sister is there. She is jealous on you, for example. You cleared prelims and you are going to mains. She wrote 4 times and she didn't clear prelims also. First attempt you cleared prelims and going mains. Then what she did? She teared your books and thrown out. Then the relationship will break or not? Yes, it can be anything. So the kinship system also mainly depends upon functions.